All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bird and Beckett. We're delighted you are here. And we're delighted to have Kimi Sugioka as the featured poet for the evening. Kimi is a mother, an educator, a songwriter, and a poet. She studied poetry at, yes, in Naropa, yes. What's it called? The Disembodied School?
John Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics.
Yeah, Disembodied Poetics. And we're not messing around. I like that. I like that a lot. And her most recent book on Manic D Press is don't tell me.
Told me, Wiles and Wings.
Wild and Wings. Oh my God, Wile and Wing in singular. Yes, very good. And she loves both cats and birds. So I don't know if the title Wile and Wing has something to do with that, but it kind of goes. It goes nicely. And she also is the Poet Laureate of Alameda. So we're quite delighted to have her. And after, what's that?
Alameda County or Alameda City?
Oh,
City.
city, yeah, boy. It's a tough crowd, I can tell. So, and after she reads, you will have a short break and then an open reading. So anybody who wants to read and hasn't signed up should let Jerry know. He'll put them down. Very good. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'll look forward to hearing what you're going to be doing after this. I'm going to read some poems for maybe 15 minutes, and then I'm going to sing a couple songs just to break things up. I'm going to stand up, but I want that right in my face. So this poem, actually, I just found out, it was selected by Lee Herrick. He is doing an anthology. I still don't know whether it's going to be hardback or just online, but it's an anthology called Our California, where you submit a poem or about where you live or where you have lived in California. Submissions may still be open. Anyways, I just found that he accepted it, so I'm happy. And it's about the time when I lived here, called San Francisco Phantom Past. In a Victorian flat with 14-foot ceilings, 3 fireplaces, and a fainting room, we each paid $150 in rent. Mark penciled wall-sized drawings of houses and buildings he rendered one brick at a time. Al wrangled black and white photos of Jerry and Johnny's, a 1950s newspaper bar, and long-gone Soma SROs. Michael edited his film over and over again, and Randall practiced slack rope, devil sticks, juggling tricks, unicycled a little dough for apple pie, red beans and rice, and ratatouille. After 3 days and nights of $3 an hour day pay and $2.50 a night, surrogate parenting autistic children, my comrades and I bought Clown Alley hamburgers, Andre's champagne, a 2-hour jacuzzi at Grand Central Station, sidestepping sex workers and Johns. We drank and ranted impossibly tragicomic vignettes into gallows humor and stray small talk. Headed east, Pacific Heights to North Beach, we ate focaccia at an Italian bakery on Grant Street, wandered Coit Tower, studied Diego's murals, the Cameron House in Chinatown, Clifton Chenier and Shem Shepherd. At the Coffee Gallery, we made Botan rice paper wishes. Snuck into San Francisco Art Institute film classes, developed photographs and lithographs in the darkroom till 4 a.m., dinner anytime at Sam Woe's that might or might not be what you ordered. You specify, I modify. Headed west to Land's End, we balanced on the walls of the Sutro Bath ruins, gazed into the camera obscura, meditated on the convict-constructed thousand-toothpick Ferris wheel, the impassive clunk of the guillotine and ghoulish laughing Sal. At Musée Mécanique, gobbled corn dogs and soft ice cream. We walked and talked miles of Frida Kahlo, Robert Frank, Diane Arbus, Michael Angiate, Imogen Cunningham, Janice Mercatani, Toni Morrison, Maya Angelou, Sherry Moraga, Zora Neale Hurston. We haunted the seminal and forgotten ghosts of San Francisco. No Ubers, Lyfts, or taxis, just an occasional bus or trolley when the dogs gave out. And I hope you noticed that every place I mentioned either cost nothing or just $1 or $2, because we were always broke. And then, it was a while back. This is another one about San Francisco called San Francisco Lyric Present. San Francisco, city of sin and sagacity, liminal sorcerer of conjuring visceral hues, mauve, taupe, copper, bronze, mansion, house, apartment, room, tent, hovel. Corporate and plebeian taxonomy, bold, tender, greedy, generous, hungry, mercenary, tired, human. Sails billow on the bay where whales winnow salt and sand, beach and breathe. Surrender. Perchance to sleep. No air bed or bed and breakfast in sidewalk domiciles. San Francisco, home of indigenous exiles. Okay, thank you. And then to more current issues. I hate reading this poem, and I feel like I have to read this poem. Flashlight. I watch the sun setting on San Francisco. Windows and steel flame brightly and importantly. But when the light shines on one side of a wall, it's easy to forget the other side still exists. When I am thirsty, I turn on the tap. When I am hungry, I go to the store and choose among ridiculous numbers of brands and flavors. I don't have to wait 4 to 6 hours for a piece of bread. When I am tired, I lie down on a bed with blankets. I don't have to find a tent or piece of cardboard. I don't have to sleep on concrete or sand. Which war is more important? The one on driven and desperate migrants at the border? The one in Palestine, Ukraine, Lebanon, Iran, Yemen, Syria? The one on the unhoused on U.S. city streets? During the march and rally, I walk past filthy and destitute people lying on the street. I wonder what we look like through their eyes. 10,000 march to defend a country 7,000 miles away. We don't march for them. We live in a darkness illumined by media, religious, and monocultural flashlights that shine here and there, illuminating one thing and leaving the rest in darkness. Flash, 1,400 dead in a Hamas attack on Israel. Flash, 35,000 dead in Israeli attack on Palestine. Flash, flash, flash. Which is more valuable, a gull or a tern, a dog or a cat, a brown bear or a black bear, a Palestinian life or an Israeli life, a Ukrainian life or a Russian life, a homeless person or a person making a living wage? I don't want to hear another mother or father describe the murder of their child, children, nieces, nephews, 36 members of a family, 14,000 children. I don't want to speak of false justifications for bombing Palestinians trapped like fish in a 225 square mile bucket. I don't want to see hundreds of wailing mothers and sobbing fathers digging through rubble to recover the bodies of their children and relatives. But to cover my eyes and ears is to feign ignorance, and to be silent is complicit. So, cats and birds, yeah. This is one of my many selves called my griffin selves, which is the griffin is the animal, the mythical animal with, like a lion with wings, or feline with wings. I was a groundling thing on velvet noiseless paws, walking around the edges of rooms close to the walls, running and hiding at loud noises, fast movements, or harsh words. And then, ever so slowly, painfully as newly budding breasts, the tips started pushing like thorns through my shoulder blades, gradually lengthening, widening, spreading, and we became dusty and winged, clawed and feathered, until we could both run and fly for fear or joy, like predator and prey in one conundrum. Waking, reeling, gorging on clouds or four-footed prey, we try not to mistake ourselves for a meal or a monster. We are often at odds with ourselves and the world. Thank you. I want to read a new poem. I hope it's done. It's an Ars Poetica, and it is a pantoum, but I messed with a little bit. The albatross always returns to the same nesting ground, strong with the memory of fast-moving water. The ojai flowers call them home, hold them within invisible and infinite arms. Strong with the memory of fast-moving water, I speak in a language of stars and myth, held within infinite and invisible arms, inside a pea, inside a pear, inside a light. This language of stars and myth reclaims purpose and beauty, inside a pea, inside a pear, inside a light. The antagonist becomes hierophant. Reclaiming purpose and beauty from a cradle of belonging, the antagonist becomes hierophant, so I can speak in the language of stars and myth, so I can return to the same nesting ground, so I can speak inside a pea, inside a pear, inside a light. Thank you. How you doing? You doing okay? Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll read a few more, a couple more. I think I want to read this one. This starts with a quote from one of Ocean Vuong's poems, Ocean Vuong, "The way a field turns its secrets into promises." It's one of his lines. Frail secrets gather in fields of daisies, arranging their blooms in symphonies conducted by field mice, tipping scales and foraging measures, for poppies to rage in vermilion flames, exalted with faith, undaunted by death. The peony speaks of geishas and samurai, settles itself into folds of embroidered silk, and hums a pentatonic melody. Irises only bloom when courted. They sing dirges and lullabies, the lament to the end of spring. And the dandelion whispers blessings that take to the wind and assuage those who have forgotten how to pray. Thank you. This is called Presence. Seems like all poems are about death. We cannot contain presence or secret it in our back pockets like a flask of whiskey. No, the words rampage across the page with muddy feet on a white-tiled kitchen floor, constantly stumbling forward like a drunk in an alley, crashing into dumpsters of metaphors again and again. Every step an encounter with the mirror or the grave. Why doesn't it ring like church bells in our skulls and remind us not to flee, but to encompass this one gilded moment? Thank you. I think I'll read one more and then I'll play something for you. No, I wanted Sky People. Sky People. Sky Islands. Okay, I'll read this instead. This is about being in Costa Rica. The monkeys are getting closer. A blackbird flaunts an elegant sheen of blue-green back feathers, casts one brilliant yellow eye my way as if to say, "Don't outstay your welcome." A squadron of pelicans show their silvered wings while performing intricate sky dances. The sky hall shimmers with unanswerable questions. Leave your corpse by the wayside and wander into your life unencumbered. The monkeys are howling in some ritual retelling of their stories, their histories, their love of wandering. Some dream before they sleep in enlightened journeys beyond the pale shadows of morning and the deep shadows of night. Thank you. Oh, okay. I don't play my guitar. Well, I'm gonna pick up my guitar, but so it'll be all right.
It'll be best if it's kind of lower than the guitar. It'll pick up your voice nicely.
Okay.
We do this with Jerry all the time.
Oh, you do. Okay. Don't play my guitar enough, so I always need to have my words in front of me. Plus, I get nervous and then I forget them. Song doesn't have a title, but you'll get the content. I think will tell you what it's about. Christmas trees in February, tinsel owls and polar bears. The songs of flightless birds will soar through starless nights and wingless prayers. Polka dot, red and white polka dot slippers. A shopping cart full of empty things. She walks the streets with ghosts from the past who know she's not what she seems. Forgive my maudlin rhapsody. I come from haunted rooms where ghosts line up like ampersands, singing hymns to rabbit moon. The man under the bridge is quiet. He doesn't rail at passers-by. Years of waiting for nothing to change. He silently stares at the sky. A frightened mouse in a cold white cage. Nowhere to hide when wars are waged against those who have no place to go, but rack up coupons of tears and rage. Forgive my maudlin rhapsody. I come from haunted rooms sands, singing hymns to a rabbit moon. And all the while the needle swings into black vinyl grooves. We speak of nothing in profound tones, act like sheep and wolves. Words like obstinate ponies, covered with doubt and dust. Maybe they can change the future. Maybe they can save us. Forgive my maudlin rhapsody. I come from haunted rooms where ghosts line up like ampersands, singing hymns to a rabbit moon. Thank you. And I thought I'd do one more. Where'd it go? I don't do this one very often, but I like it a lot. It's called, I never think I have that many songs, but then I can't find them. It's called The Tongue-Cut Sparrow. Sort of a combination song and poem. Something's wrong. Hold on. Sparrow billows her body with breath and surrenders rapture. A woodsman found her wounded, brought her home to convalesce. His wife grew jealous of her song and so cut out her tongue. We blaze a trail cut in tongues, broken with yearning for the sensate song of the wild. Wild desires plague our dreams, endless doors to claimless territories. Scent is keen upon us. We've lost our nature and have no way to follow. But because we are creatures of passion and promise, because we believe in the impossible, we barter. For the child of viper strikes out of an unrequited love of innocence. For Europa, whose honey scent betrayed her. For them who venture into Hades to unravel raptures of the deep. Liquid lullaby. Saints and seraphim are tiresomely pious. envy, our sordid self-absorption, our tactile reality, our terrible desires. Love, Liebe, believe. In gods with feathers, fetlocks, and fins. Breathe sweet tobacco and answer the razor's keening by dancing with the sun in a stand of cottonwood to retrieve the sparrow's song. Wild desires plague our dreams and restores to claimless territories. The feral scent is keen upon us. We've lost our nature and have no way to follow. We've lost our nature and must find a way to follow to retrieve the sparrow's song. Thank you for listening. Listening is a gift. Thank you to Eric, thank you to Burden Beckett, thank you to Michael. And have a good time.
Kimi, thank you so much.
Nice to talk to you. I'm just gonna listen.
So thanks, Kimi. Very nice. Very beautiful reading, singing.
Actually, raise this up a little bit.
For you,
Well, I mean, for anybody, I think, maybe a little bit.
for anybody.
Maybe, I don't know. Of course. Don't turn it around. No.
Because that's where it picks up the sound.
Is this where I? Jesus. Nope.
May I assist? The lesson in microphone.
Yes, we need
Stamps.
that.
Well, you have to
Microphone
watch.
etiquette. Okay,
If
I'm
you don't
watching.
watch, you don't learn. That's the watchword.
Whoa,
That was almost magical, wasn't it?
guys.
This is how it's done.
Yeah,
This teamwork.
yeah. Okay, this guy, he thinks he's a poet. So, so anyway, I've known Michael. He's the one of the first poets I met here. I'm from here in San Francisco, but when I first started going out to open poetry readings, the first time I met you was at Minnie's Can Do up on Fillmore, and yeah, so that was great. And so Michael's, I've been able to follow his progress, over the years, So, but yeah. But anyway, hey, okay, here you go, man.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll kick things off with a little poem before deferring to Jerry, who, of course, I think we met it was either 72 or 73, when we were both small children, but no, not quite. So, of course, everyone knows the old saying, if plan A doesn't work, there's always plan B, right? So that's what this, of course, yeah, no, as time is, yeah, the notion that there is a plan B is quite aspirational at this point. But if plan A doesn't work, there's always plan B. Plan A is the stuff of legends, a perennial disappointment, futility incarnate. Plan B is proverbial. We allude to it darkly, depend on it, drag it around like a stuffed monkey that's stolen all our cigars. Plan C is folly squared. D, a preening idiot. E, don't even go there. I mean, E again? Plan F is inedible. It can't dance. It doesn't trip lightly off the tongue. As for Plan G, we'll never penetrate its cool, non-committal surface. We fear the rigor of Plan H. Our beds are too warm, the cockles of our hearts too cozy. Plan I? Ay, ay, ay. Plan J is pure poison. Plan K, a sugary confection that lures us to the grave. L keeps us awake all night and muttering non sequiturs all day. Plan M is in the mail with your check. Plan N makes us yearn for mere disaster. Plan O is a yawning abyss, and B is less than abysmal. We embrace Plan Q with mad exuberance, knowing it will devolve into the makeshift panic of Plan R, the simplistic insincerity of Plan S. But oh, Plan T is the bomb, and Plan U a veritable mattress on fire. V promises to be serviceable if we can find it in the rubble. We scurry off toward W like late summer insects. Plan X is singing his heart out in the rain, wondering if Y can repair it. And Z sachets its butt in the infinite, just out of reach. Very good, thanks. And also I want to thank, of all those wonderful poems you read, the political, the one you said, I don't know if I should read this, but I have to read it. Yeah. I really appreciate it because that to me is like what's going on now is a reference point for everything we do. I mean, because we're dwarfed by the enormity of the things that are awry in our world, as we know. So I really appreciated that.
Is that your book of poems?
Yes, it is. It is available.
It's available here.
To the so-called book.
I just wanted to say I was really aware of how many times the letter of the plan appeared in the lines of the plan.
Yeah.
Lower your mic.
All right.
Or you want to sing higher?
I don't know. See, forgot what I was going to sing. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the singing, praise for the garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden's a play, praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden's all play, praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. I'm gonna sing another.
Yeah, I love it when somebody sings a song and twists it around.
Well, I made a magic wish for the kingfisher's daughter. I went fishing in her dish with a mouthful of water. Well, I gave her gifts of air, I sung her songs of fire. Strung the pearls of care on a thread of desire. Yeah, she made a magic hand and now I'm feeling better. 'Cause she took my little hands and she put them together. Yeah, I sat down there for her hand and my dream came true. Don't you understand? From the one came two. Now I'm a believer and I don't have to die. I might live forever, honey, bet you don't know why. Well, she reads me giant books before I go to bed. She tells me little jokes and I hear the laughter of the dead. They said the dress, not the soul not the dress, just an infinite roll of fine silky soul. The egg in the nest in the tree. Yes, you know you are blessed from me out of thee. Well, white flower on a blue sky, and I am nothing more. More drunkenly I go to her door underneath the river. Well, we live all alone in a house made of bones. She put us around without any sound. Well, I don't remember how I met her, but things just couldn't be better. If I mistreat her, she turns me to stone. But I couldn't get along without her, and her cooking you wouldn't believe. She's a man-eater. I'll break my back to feed her. But all in all, she's a living doll, and I know I'm the lucky one. Why, without her love, I wouldn't be here at all. Yes, a fish in a tree, the boat on the ground. I look under her bed, look what I found. $1 million and a glittering crown. And it fits so well, I think I'll take a walk downtown. Well, it's a beautiful day, there ain't no one around, just me and my shadow rambling round right here in your pristine dream city. Oh, where east meets west and time stands still. The whole of the law is do what you will. Well, we got the money, we got the time. Oh, well, I love your city, and I love your town. I wish somebody would show me around. But there ain't nobody, and word gets around. The last one to leave is a big-ass clown. Where you took my money and you broke my crown. And it's all too funny, 'cause the city's gonna shake them all down. Well, white flower on a blue sky, and I am nothing more. More drunkenly I go I to her daddy's door. Well, he lives at the top of a tired old world. The story he knows has never been told, but I'm a believer, so we broke out the jug. He says, son, have a drink and you best drink deep. When you drink with me, you drink for keeps. Well, I'm a believer, you're the kingfisher. Well, the sun comes up and the sun goes down. All I remember is the first time around. Well, if I ever get sober, I'll get to keep his crown. So he told me a story and I just had a laugh. In all his glory, it's the same old stuff. He's a big dreamer, he just never wakes up. So I shook his hand and I climbed back down. Now I know why the world goes round, 'cause I'm a believer, simple as it sounds. I can dream forever. You still see old Jerry walking around with his guitar. All All right. Okie dokie. All right. All right. Bringing the house down at the Bird and Beckett. Yes. Yeah.
It's like a three-quarter guitar. Is there a certain name for that? It's got
They call it a requinto.
requintos.
Yeah, which is it's just a small classical guitar. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, yeah.
Is that a Spanish word?
Yeah. I think it's supposed to mean young man or something like that. Or
It has nylon strings.
yeah, it's a classical guitar. It's just smaller. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it has nylon strings?
Yes. Yeah.
Real crisp sound out of that.
Yeah.
That's like a,
But it's small, so it probably has more of that.
it's like a ping.
Ping. Yeah, ping.
It's the stickers that make it sound.
Stickers.
Oh, yeah.
Who wrote that song, John? Terry?
Sound like a mashup.
That last song?
Me. Yeah. Much. Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's carry on, carry forth, and carry on. Yeah, and we have.
I love that near the beginning, that little bash of drunk guitar.
Yeah.
Where
Drunk
you're sort of
guitar,
all,
yes,
where
yeah.
you're sort of all over the place, and then suddenly we find out that he's drunk, and it's great. I said, "What the hell is he doing?"
Yes, what am I doing?
What are you doing? Just do more.
All right.
Oh, good. That's what
So our first open poet is Kathy Holly.
This great story.
Kathy Holly.
You really can't lose it, can't sustain it for that long, but it just kept going and going, and it never lost any intensity.
I thought I'd use the stand. And let's see, can we raise it just by lifting it up?
Well, put your foot on. Yeah. Oh, it's so look at that. It's so easy.
There. Thank you so much.
You must grease that every week.
Wow. Are there any Irish here?
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is about potatoes. And it's not a poem. It's a story.
It is what it is.
Well, a girl potato and boy potato had eyes for each other.
Oh no.
And finally they got married and had a little sweet potato who they called Yam. Of course, they wanted the best for Yam. When it was time, they told her about the facts of life. They warned her about going out and getting half-baked so she wouldn't get accidentally mashed and get a bad name for herself like hot potato and end up with a bunch of tater tots. Yam said not to worry. No spud would get her into the sack and make a rotten potato out of her. But on the other hand, she wouldn't stay home and become a couch potato. She would also get plenty of exercise so as not to be skinny like her shoestring cousins. When she went off to Europe, Mr. and Mrs. Potato told Yam to watch out for the hard-boiled guys from Ireland and the greasy guys from France called the French fries. When she went out west, to please watch out for the Indians so she wouldn't get scalloped. Yam said she would stay on the straight and narrow and wouldn't associate with those high-class Yukon Gulls or the ones from the other side of the tracks who advertise their trade on all the trucks that say Frito-Lay. Mr. and Mrs. Potato sent Yam to Idaho PU, that's Potato University, so that when she graduated, she'd really be in the chips. But in spite of all they did for her, one day Yam came home and announced she was going to marry Tom Brokaw. Tom Brokaw? Mr. and Mrs. Potato were very upset. They told Yam she couldn't possibly marry Tom Brokaw because he's just... Are you ready for this?
No.
He's just a commentator.
This actually, the first poem came through today, actually. It's a recent.
3 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
What, 3 minutes? No, these are.
Newsflash.
The first one was only about 45 minutes, so no, I'm just kidding. It'll be short. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
That's why I can't hear this.
Great night.
Raise the microphone.
Raise the mic stand.
Raise it up.
Raise it up.
Raise me up.
Turn that.
There you go.
Boom. Done.
I am a musician, so I've seen mic stands in my life.
Here's the music stand? No,
That's not a bad
it's
idea.
kind of nice.
It is nice. I can let my hands flail.
2 minutes, 10 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. Time is up. Okay, here we go. Okay, if I can get through this. I won't give an introduction to where it came from, but it was written, mostly started in North Beach this morning at one of my favorite cafes called Cafe Trieste, which many of you know. It's called, oops, what was that? I don't know. Feeding Back. That was weird. It sort of like just had its own little, wow. The Tree's Leaves is the title. Come one, come all, to the party that's going on right now. A little bit here, I like to look out. Look out your window. What do you see? It's General Vallejo. He's about to make a speech, not to be missed. Within the double exposure of daily life, I try to notice the waving and wiggling of the tree's leaves. The general stands on the crest of Mount Baldy. He's spouting off about how bad his cell connection is. I hear you, Mariano. Damn phones. I'm from a town in New York called Whitestone. Where's that, you say? It's near LaGuardia Airport in Queens. Come down off your mountain and join the party, I yell up to the general, but he chooses to continue spouting off his woes. Within the double exposure of daily life, I try to notice the waving and the wiggling of the tree's leaves. The noon church bells were late today, but who's listening? That's the, I don't know. That was, thank you. It's a work in progress. So this is a few years back when I lived in LA. Well, I wrote it after that, many years after that, but Living Fine at 2138 Vine, Hollywood in the 80s. Liz, Lewis, and John, living fine at Primrose and Vine. New Edition Live, Harry Braverman Jive, Cuddy the Cat, Upstairs Dog with Dogs, Ample Fleas for All, Those Hazy Lazy LA Days, Driving for G2 Graphics, Road Rage for a Low Wage, Free Buffets at the Rage, Erewhon Macro, Bobby Brown, King of Stage, Lake Hollywood Strolls, The Twins, Dennis and the Dead Kennedys, Dos Equis and Dark Side of the Moon, Happy Birthday, Dear Liz, Love John. Silly. And this was written, well, it was about what happened on June 20, the title is June 23rd, 2013. Early Sunday morning, around 2 a.m., I awoke from a ringing in my ears. I had a pee and prepared a glass of hot water and went back to bed. Then about an hour later, I awoke to a very dark room. At first I thought, this is strange. I was only half awake, but it seemed funereal. Gradually, coming out of a fog, I took a look out my window and noticed that the street lights were dark. I surmised if the power was out in my neighborhood. At that time, I was using a clock radio. Since the power was off, I set my iPhone alarm to go off at 6 a.m. At 1 minute past 6, my sister Carol called from New York. I knew by the sound of my sister's voice that my mother had passed away. That's it. Thanks for listening. That's fun.
Thanks for talking.
Sure.
Tia.
Yeah, it's time for me. I'm not gonna read every single page in these books that's in my bag here. So, any old height
Well,
do just
there's
fine.
A better height than
Okay.
other heights.
Just a moment. I have to let the electricity subside a little bit.
What's your name?
Lucia. You too. I was asked to read here by somebody who is not present. Yeah, it's too bad. Okay. Come read a poem, they said. There will be punch and pie, they said. Come read a poem, the Golden Armada awaits. Come read a poem. We shall lay waste to your foes. Wine will spill from the fountains. Please come read a poem. We'll give you a coupon for Whole Foods. There will be waiting 100 nymphs with buckets of gold. Come read a poem, they said. God himself will come down from the heavens, personally high-five your right palm, wearing a Portland Trailblazers basketball jersey. Personally validate everything you have ever said, if only you come read a poem at behest of random Karen who visits your classroom. Come read a poem, and the aliens will invade, lasers melting the sandstone of the White House, Kamala Harris taken prisoner. The billions of imprisoned livestock animals all at once given full sentience, but rather than liberated, enslaved again and turned against their former human masters. Chickens, swine, and horses equipped with black hole energy weaponry and neural grafting behavior modifications. Come read a poem. Mel Gibson will find himself suddenly with the strength, vigor, and swagger he once carried in his younger days. The power of poetry and a secret vial of elixir misplaced by the aliens. Mel Gibson, with a born-again heroism, takes up arms. He lays waste to every last robo-chicken, robo-pig, robo-horse, every last alien invader, only to be betrayed by Danny Glover. Why, Danny? How could you? Like Scar from The Lion King, Danny throws Mel from the cliffside to be overtaken by a stampeding pack of wildebeest. Come read a poem. Danny Glover will rise from his Hollywood retirement home and burst through the front doors of the Bird and Beckett, punch God in the face, and steal the opportunity to give me a high five. Come read a poem, they said. Come read a poem, if you want punch and pie.
Well, Danny Glover did it because he's too old for this shit.
Book burning at Bird and Beckett. Do you think this? Do you think that this could be? Do you believe in premonition? Do you believe in life after Bird and Beckett?
For something else.
They say, love is a waiting game. A love of what? A love of the game? A love of waiting? A love of love? A love of what they say. We do this to ourselves, waiting, marketing our asses. A window shopper may fool you. Indecision can drain you. The end is coming. Brace your thighs. The end is coming. You are exactly where you need to be. Embracing the impact, a comet and crater. Waiting for ink on a page. The capsule slowly empties. You feel fluid draining, wandering, scattered little drops. This is, yeah, towards where we go, to this other. Who is we? Who is them? Another dawn, and other with other. It's not quite dawn, not quite middle of night. Inner meeting, places of darkness, two wards against. Light all ways, all two, meeting some, the light in other. All right then. Who am I without them? Remind me, would you please? I'm not kept up at night, not by this. What color was my hair? Calling out a name who is, I can feel. The hesitation, autopilot, no control. Cracks in the ceiling, rain pouring in, flooding. But don't get so sidetracked. This is your poem, after all, Angel. The magic wand never left your hands. I forgot myself. Where was I? I forgot where I was for a moment. It is personal. Coping mechanisms and idiosyncrasies, keeping us all under wraps of sheets and blankets, such that we never ever see the light of day, or ever truly, madly, deeply feel, hear the rhythm of the night. This is the rhythm of the night, the rhythm of the night, the rhythm of the night, of the night, of the night, kept under wraps of blankets and fears, all cotton and cold, always. Come read a poem. Come read a goddamn poem. If I have to read one more goddamn poem, that's all I can handle.
Okay, Fran. How do you say your last name, Fran?
Cicerone.
Cicerone.
The San Francisco tree.
Yes. Just like rice-a-roni. Some may call it morning jolt, hits 'em like a lightning bolt. Others call it rocket fuel, stay awake at work or school. Mud, dirt, Java brew, coffee is so good for you. Lifts you up when you're feeling blue, coffee is so good for you. Grande venti double shot, freshly brewed and screaming hot. Latte made with half and half, Arabica in gold carafe. French or dark roast, sable tint. Barista, where's my stimulant? Cappuccino topped with froth, steamed and pressed out through a cloth. Hot or cold brew, bitter, black, palpitations, heart attack. Hear what the consumer says, make a saint of Juan Valdez. Don't care if it's a diuretic, jitter juice, I wax poetic. God grant me my daily grind, you know I need to wine, wine, wine. Colombian, Sumatra too, fair trade products, we love you. Ristretto and Americano, San Francisco to Milano, espresso leaded with caffeine, hail the righteous coffee bean. Scoop the grounds and let 'em steep, the people will be counting sheep. Mud, dirt, Java brew, coffee is so good for you. Lifts you up when you're feeling blue, coffee is so good for you. No. Jesus never drank no frappuccino. Did not share a juice box with the youth. Never sipped a cherry Coke, never vaped, never smoked. In vino veritas he spoke the truth. Jesus didn't go to Yale or Stanford, and he never earned no MBA degree. Evading all temptation, he gave us an education as the premier doctor of philosophy. Jesus never drove no car from Tesla. No vehicular emissions did he make. Simply tread upon the land, sometimes soil, sometimes sand, and the ozone had no hole, for heaven's sake. Jesus never had no 5-room condo, so you know he never paid no HOAs. On foot the man did roam, where he landed was his home, for a nomad never garnered higher praise. Now, sometimes I will drink a frappuccino, and yes, I have degrees and drive a car. Strive to live my life with grace, sowing love in every place, like Jesus did, that peerless superstar.
Jesus Christ Superstar?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Yeah, there you go. Papa planted a pawpaw in Walla Walla, Washington. Mama murmured melodies while meandering in a moo-moo. Yaya yelled, "Yum, yum, make me mahi-mahi. Top the tuna with tartar." Fifi frequented foreign fields, picturesque places like Pago Pago, dark domains of the Dick-Dick, never neglecting New York, New York, shrinking sickos at Sing Sing. Chi-Chi the Chow Chow exfoliating fur above the Berber. Zsa gingerly cha-chas off the choo-choo, gambling go-go clattering can-can. Coco quests for quality clothing, chin-chin clinking Chateau de Pop. Binging on bonbons, buying black bustiers at BB's. Hungry for ho-hos, baby Brooks boo-boo, yanking yellow yo-yo. Diaper dirties with doo-doo, tisk-tisk. Bye-bye, bards, brethren bystanders. Hip-hip hooray! Ollie oxen free. I'll do one more. This is really a song, but I'm going to read it as a poem. When I was a little girl, my mother, she did say, always be a gracious guest, polite in every way. Somehow I think that times have changed, at least as I can see. Entertaining's not the joy that it once used to be. Vicky is a vegetarian. Brenda balks at beef. Alan's on an all-raw diet. What shall I serve? Good grief. Larry can't have lactose. Carol is carb-free. Susie snubs all sulfites. That means more wine for me. Glenn gets gas from gluten. Flora fends off fish. Sharon shuns white sugar, no matter how delish. Gail eschews all garlic, fearing halitosis. Walter's water must be purified by reverse osmosis. Carl avoids crustaceans. Sally sidesteps salt. Virgil is a vegan, so starve, it's not my fault. Henry tolerates honey, if it comes from local stock. Pam gets hives from peanuts, then anaphylactic shock. Charlie won't eat chicken unless it is free range. Oscar hails organic. My friends are oh so strange. Lucy's diet is low fat, even though she wears size 2. Fred's a pain in the you-know-where. Only fair trade foods will do. I had a dinner party, invited this fine group. Now, you might think I'm wealthy, but all I made was soup. Not vichyssoise nor chowder. They're both too rich, it's true. Just veggie juice with floating roots that looked like number 2. If I invite you to my home, before you say okay, plan to eat whatever I serve and be gracious during your stay. Irradiate pretentiousness about what you'll ingest. Congeniality and gratitude make you the perfect guest. Thank you.
You're not related to Shel Silverstein,
No.
are you? It reminded me of the poetry I used to read as a kid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, Scooter Fine.
Thank you. Suspended strings, planting and harvest, summer night, New York City. Surprising how quiet the city can be away from the big streets. Walking along the East Village with Joe, a musician friend, we bump into Martin Wong, also from Humboldt County. The night becomes a Martin Wong painting, crumbling brick buildings, intimate conversation. Something about the distance of time. Time is not shadow, has shadows. Thank you. AI meets Cummings. An intelligent man had a date with the moon. A piece of forever. The moon is an angel, is a mountain, perfect silence. The moon, mountains, absolute man, ocean of time. Earth is love, yes is the moon. The intelligent man forgot everything and fell in love again with the moon. Here's a drum poem. From earth rhythm to street rhythm, the sound of the drum, the voice of the spirit. To see takes time. The movement of light, the hands create pulse, a line, a beam of light, colors, black and white, entwined with the night. The drum melts, the night blue, movement, the feet must dance. And let's see if I can actually read this one. Anyway, we'll see how far I can get. It's sort of a mess on the page, but anyway, full of poems. The sky is full of poems falling from the clouds upon the empty streets of San Francisco. Memories of Uncle Bone, a fabled beatnik saint, also full of poems. Eat the flower of belief, words given away. Tomorrow is a flower of always. Today is when the cat in the window is a night named Y. Staring as the words pile up, the streets flooded with poems. Oh, sky flower, shard of the moon. Thought silent now, poems disappear, bones safe in heaven. The night fades, and the clocks close their eyes. Thank you.
Okay, Scooter, thank you. And Nicolette.
Hello. I have some last minute poems on my phone, so I was not prepared. I have a few little tiny poems, and then I'll end with some lesbian longing, as one does. Okay. All right. First one is, I hate belts. I hate the way belts clink when a man takes it off and says he needs something. I have a belt. I have a belt that doesn't make noise when I take it off. It reminds me that I don't have to be a man. Okay, next one is, Carson, why do you hate women when I love them? You want their connection, but you got your tubes tied because you don't want children. Your juicy lips remind me of bullies becoming friends. Do you respect me because you can't fuck me? They sent you back here. You were bad at your job, so they sent you back here to do my job. We are not the same. Next one is, show me all the drugs. I won't touch them, but I want to see you use them to show me how to escape. Why did you hurt me when you were asleep? Next time hurt me when you are awake, so you remember what you did. Okay, those are kind of those ones. Okay, next ones are... Okay, here we go. Okay, the next one is, I want a high-maintenance diva to ruin my life. Your hair lingers on my sleeve, blue and lengthy and with give. I twirl a strand between my fingertips, falling in the grooves of my fingerprint. When it spills over my face, you bat down at me and enclose. You are made of smoke, effortlessly floating and flowing around flexing bodies, filling a room with allure and blurring light patterns. They can only focus on you. I try to catch you, but you billow out and swirl around my longing hands. Maybe if I lay here, you will settle on my chest. Okay, and last one is a collaboration I did with a dear friend in the desert of Utah. When we meet, our faces spark. like static on a lightning day, wakes me up when I go away. Humming comes from an electrical grid. Rocks melt into rocks at a height I cannot reach. Carry me away on your river. I'll sleep in your layers among the bats and moths, grasping for illusion of a moon. My fingers in the dirt. My fingers are in the dirt and the water is washing them away. My fingers float among the waves of a river. What were they made of when they left me? The skin sags down, a magnetic pull towards home. I feel my lips point down to direct me where I land. Thank you.